Hello again. My name is Dr. Dorothy Shallua, and we are doing chapter 4 today. And I am so excited. This book is just getting us going. And today we're going to be very practical. We're going to talk about our personal experiences when it comes to taking steps. That's what the discussion is going to be all about in chapter 4. And again, we continue the discussion with our very lovely woman of God, and her name is?
Jacinta Badu.
All right, and?
Veronica Onyango.
Oh, thank you so much. I got so excited when we wanted to start this about this scripture, and I just want to share it with everybody. It talks about starting small. It talks about the small things that sometimes we despise. It comes from Zechariah 4 and verse 10, and I'm going to read it. For who has despised the days of small things, but these 7 eyes of the Lord, which scan the whole earth, will rejoice when they see the plumb line in the hand of Zerubbabel. So God, or the word, or this text is very intentional to go even deeper to the small things that we should not despise. We should not despise the days of small beginning. We should not despise the little that we have. Sometimes it can just be our mindset that, how can I do it when I have something small? How can I start when this does not measure up? But the word of God encourages us, and it even kind of like it rebukes. How do you despise that kind of a thing, the small things? It starts with a small thing. But not only that, but also we have to have the mindset not only of starting, but also of continuing. The word of God was encouraging here Zerubbabel that God rejoices. The 7 eyes of the Lord rejoice to see the plumb line. The plumb line is that string the builders use when it comes to building. They would measure, right? It is about progress. God rejoices to see progress. As you start, He gives you the strength to have progress. And He doesn't want us to end things in the middle, because He is the author. He starts things and He finishes things. So we are created in His image. Therefore, we should imitate, even in action, in what God is to have the mindset of starting, of taking progress, and also of finishing. So I just want these amazing women of God to jump in and give us some example, very practical example on the things that they started small. Yes, you started with a little capital, started with, something very small. Probably it was kind of like that woman of God who had little oil. The little oil, that's all, the whole business, the oil company started with that, the little oil, when the prophet of God say, what do you have in the house? And all she had was this oil. So woman of God, what would you say about this?
Yes, we cannot really ignore the days of the humble beginning, as you have said. When we came here, my husband came in as a consultant for data center installation, and personally, I was a lecturer back in Nairobi, and I thought, let me join him. Of course, I was also going on with my master's, and that kept me a little bit busy. Then later, his contract ended.
Yes.
And he loved this country. Then he looked at his skills, and he thought, let him venture into opening a company, which of course he followed the laws of the land, and he was able to register. And so currently, as he's running with his particular company, of course it's not been easy, but again, when you know where you're going, you don't give up. Even when there are shakings around, you still just have to maintain and finish the course. I love using this example of Jesus. When he carried the cross to Golgotha, it was not easy. Yes. He was beaten, he fell down, he was bleeding, he was abused, but he didn't leave the cross. He kept on carrying it until Golgotha. That is where we got our salvation. If we lost it on the way, then today we will not be talking about salvation. Yeah. So even to us, to anyone, like for instance, our scenario is like, even when you're beaten, even when you feel you're down, you still have to keep fixing your eyes to the cross. And currently now, I am bringing in my expertise, and we are trying to work on what should we do on this particular area of training. I am a trained psychologist in counseling, and I am very passionate about teenage, especially girls. I like looking at them, like if they shape their lives early enough, then there are many problems they are likely to not to indulge themselves in. And this is what I'm working in. Currently, I'm done writing my book on the same, and it will be out. And it's taken long. I started writing it, I think, in 2017. Then I became pregnant of our third born. And when I thought now I am out of it and I want to now pursue it to the core, then the fourth born jumped in very fast when we were unaware. And I usually call him that he's a gift. In fact, interestingly, the name that we've given to our last born, we had given to our third born. But when our third born was born, we realized she was so joyous. And we asked ourselves, if we go to the registrar, can they accept to switch these names? And they said it is possible. So we gave him a name according to our tribe, Amor. Amor means joyous. Joyous. And then we had given her blessing. In our tribe, we call it Gweth. Yes. So we gave it to Joshua, who is our last born. And I call him a blessing because it's like he switched in. He came in and said, like, look, I'm not being locked out. Yes. I am already here. And I will really encourage us that let it not die. That vision. For myself, I'll say that at some point I thought that there was nothing going on. But now I am seeing something surfacing up, and I am very sure that it's coming to its core.
Wow. Yes. I like what you said, because a lot of us during the pandemic, when COVID hit, we found ourselves kind of like our dreams, what we started, were being buried, were being hit, were being attacked. And we saw businesses closed. We saw people losing jobs. There were a lot of interruptions. And what you are bringing up is we shouldn't give up on our dreams. Yes, you had the 2 children, but you kept on writing that book. The 4th children, okay, you know, that was like a detour, okay? But you kept on raising your children at that particular time because it was a priority at that particular time. Yeah. Even when the 3rd child came, you kept on raising the children because that was a priority. But when the time came, you did not bury your dream, your vision of the book. Yes. You came back to it. Isn't that amazing? Yes. Sometimes we give up. We don't come back. When that time comes, when we are given that second chance. Remember, we serve a God of second chances. Yes. And when we are given those second chances, it's very important to open those books, those vision books. That's why I like to encourage people in the beginning of the year, when God gives you that vision, write it down. Just write it down. Those words will always speak to you. Even as we speak now, go back to your vision that you wrote 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and see what do you need to continue. She continued writing. And that's why up to now, she's talking about publishing this book. It's almost finished. She's going to publish, and I'll be the first cheerleader of it. I can't wait to read the book.
Wow.
Yes, we shouldn't give up on our vision. We shouldn't give up on our dreams. We should always go back. What would be your take on this?
I think I want us to start from there, not giving up. Yeah? We are people of faith. What is faith? Faith is a substance of things hoped for, yeah, and evidence of things not seen.
Yes.
Now, I have just a small testimony about the pandemic time. You know, I want to give us children of God an eye of how to look into things. In the time of the pandemic, you can't believe, I looked and I saw a business opportunity in my line. Because I do cleaning, I do fumigation. And that time there was pandemic of COVID.
Yes,
so
COVID.
Fumigation was required. Hygiene was required. So I jumped into it and I saw an opportunity. What am I saying? Let's not always close in and feel like we are finished. In that situation, as a child of God, look at where is your way of coming out. You will see it.
Oh, I love it. I want you to continue with this thought of being flexible as well as to pivot.
Yes.
Because that's what you're talking about, right? What you're talking about is for people who are flexible. When pandemic hit, those who are rigid were put on the side. They couldn't see the way out. But you're talking about somebody who's flexible, somebody who's able to pivot. It doesn't go this way, it's okay. Just pivot a little bit. Do it a little different. So go ahead and continue with that. I just got excited.
That's the point I really wanted to bring. Don't always close yourself, because this is what is here. Now, I am a child of God. I am a person of faith. Take a pause, look keenly now. How can I come out here? It's not because of the pandemic that everything should stand still. Not everybody stood still. People were moving. People were doing something. So how can I come out here? In my line I saw I can come out and do, and in fact in that time I did a lot of business. Mama Jade is a witness. Veronica is a witness. I did a lot of business because I had seen they want fumigation. I went and searched what is being used. I went to a site in China. What are they using to do? I had to order for that thing.
The chemicals for cleaning, the cleaning chemicals
for the
fumigation and cleaning
of that pandemic. We got that shipping. It was not easy, but we got it. It was expensive, but at the end of it, it paid because that was needed at that time.
Yes.
I sold it. I used it. You see, so take a pause. Look at how can I come out here. God will surely give you a way out, because you have not closed yourself in. You've not looked at the limitation and stopped there. You've seen there's something you can do. You'll definitely pave. You'll definitely pave a way for you. God will make a way for you. The word of God says He will make a way for you. And He did, and He will.
Yes. Wow. We're talking about people prospering during famine. We're talking about people prospering. We're talking about people being solutions during hard times. And we talked about that in one of the segments on that chapter. Like, look at yourself in a positive way. Don't be a pessimist. Always have a positive mindset. When you face problems, what do you see in problems? Can you see a solution? Can you become a solution? Can that solution help you make money? Take action into it. Even if it is expensive, order those chemicals. She ordered very expensive chemicals, but it worked for her. For us, during the pandemic, when we were back in the United States, we were in training. So we had the opportunity to see what areas can we take advantage of as a training institute, as in healthcare. And definitely there were some areas in the healthcare industry we were hit the hardest, because again, the pandemic, COVID was about healthcare. People didn't want to go to work, and there were a lot of challenges. But at the same time, we had to reposition ourselves. We had to pivot a little bit to see how can we continue to exist. Of course, we did take advantage of the funds that were out there to help different healthcare companies, especially when it came to the equipment that were needed. We researched to see what areas were out there. There were opportunities for funds, and we took hold of that, and we were able to buy extra PPP equipment. We are talking about gloves. We are talking about the protective equipment that were needed. So definitely God made a way, even in the situation that were the hardest for different companies. And yes, there were companies that closed. Even in those areas that if you had to close down, and now we are coming out of the pandemic, now this is a time to see what action do you take? How do you evolve? Because now we are coming out of the pandemic. How do you evolve? How do you pivot? What else can you do? Your dream is not yet dead.
That's true.
I love this chapter. I love about taking action. I love about utilizing everything that God gives us to continue with the vision. It's not just about starting. Starting is very important. We start a business, we start ministry, but there are times when we meet challenges. Ladies, before we come to the conclusion of this chapter, let us also talk about challenges. There are people who face different types of challenges in the ministry, people who face in the family. God has given you a vision to have an amazing family, but all of a sudden challenges come in, battles come in, things come to face and to battle your family. Let's talk about those times that we face challenges, whether in business. I know, woman of God, you're very strong in business, whether in the family, whether in the ministry. How do we come strong out of that? Love to start with you.
I will also just love to go practical or
Yes.
the same. When it comes to challenges, which are always there, you want to see what is of priority. You have to prioritize things so that the challenges do not knock you off.
Yes.
For example, I have 4 children, and they are not old. They are just ranging around between 11 and 2, almost 2. It's not easy.
Yes.
Because they all need your attention. We can call it challenge number 1. But then, how are you coming in to see that this challenge still keeps you on toes and you still remain that same person and it doesn't drain you off? Of course, we must have a support system, and support system could be your husband, support system could be friends, it could be church, it could be a small group where you share almost similar circumstances. But I could also say that once you have your priorities right, then even if challenges are going to come, then you will know how to maneuver through and come out successful. I could say that for my case, I have prioritized my children for now because they are younger. And I have to say that life is about phases. Once somebody has older children, there is that tendency of forgetting the challenges she went through when she had little children. And so where you are, handle the situation you are in carefully because it's a phase. Next you'll be handling teenagers. What are the challenges of teenagers? Then you will have adult children. And so with every phase, enjoy it because it is passing. It's not there to stay forever. So enjoy it. take what you can take and leave what you don't need at that particular time. And as the stages go, you realize that what you could have employed during that time, which you didn't, you can now employ in this particular phase. I will just want to finish by saying many times when we go to, let's say there could be seminars and trainings, we receive a lot of teaching. And I will want to encourage every one of us, even at any given stage, you take in what is yours. You take in what you can digest. What you can't digest at that point, it will be digested later. Just keep it. I'm sure as you keep on moving, you will need it.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, I love that, because there are things which might not be relevant for you at that particular phase.
Yes.
So we're talking about phases, we're talking about taking action, but also we want to remember, even during that time, the vision God has given us, sometimes we think it is just for one day, for 2 days, or maybe for a year. No, it is not. It is there to Joshua. When Joshua was given the assignment or that vision that God gave it to him, and the assignment God gave it to him, it is spanned throughout his life.
That's true.
It was lifelong, and he didn't even finish. During the end of that time, when he was old, he was about to die, God told him, make sure that every land, it is divided by lot. Now, we have to take into consideration when we are thinking about our vision that God has given us. There are things that will take a long time.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we also have responsibility. Talking about a woman with a responsibility. We talk about a woman who has children. We're talking about a woman in ministry. A woman who probably she's married. Now, yes, maybe you are not yet married. So there might be things that you'll be so good at to accomplish during the phase you are not married. Going to school, when God gives you the opportunity to go to school, make sure you do it before you are married.
Yes.
Because that's the phase.
Yes.
Yes. And then we don't say that if you are married, you cannot go to school. I did most of my education from certificate to doctorate when I was married. But it is just easier.
Yes.
I want to talk for those people who have opportunity.
Yes.
It is so easy. It is so easy. There are certain things. Enjoy your singlehood. And it is in those times that you are single, you have lots of time. Enjoy it. As you are praying to God, ask God about your vision. What is that vision? And start taking your steps, your action, even before you start thinking or getting yourself involved in the issue of marriage. Usually you have more time. That's what she has been talking about, phases. Life has phases. When you have children, there are things you won't be able to do. The book that she's writing, it could have taken less time if she didn't have children or if she was not married. But now, because of the children or the phase she's in, it's gonna take longer. So those are the things we are talking about. We have to take into consideration when we are talking about the vision, the idea, the dream, the ministry God has given us. We have to put all these other things into perspective. We are almost coming to the end, but I'm also getting excited. I love this chapter, taking action. What would be your take? Challenges.
On how to tackle challenges. I'll also use an experience, a life experience. Let me begin when now already the business is starting and you've gotten some 1 or 2 contracts.
Okay.
And there's a way you measure them and say, this is a good one, this is a middle one, this is just enough for me.
Yeah.
So now when you lose that contract,
the big one,
what happens?
the big job,
your life will not end there.
Amen.
But now how do you go through it? One thing I believe, that I'm a child of God, And nothing comes my way that takes God by surprise.
Yes.
That I believe. You cannot take that from me. Be it good, be it bad.
Yes.
If you have that in the first place, you will understand what has happened to you. Number two, be calm. It has happened. If it's a contract, it has gone, it has gone. Yeah? Be calm and now say what next.
Yes.
Then you come to adjusting yourself, your life. This contract was big, bringing millions to your company, for example.
Yes.
You lived in a very big house. If it was a rental house, for example, paying and you could pay it. I'm just using a rental issue so that you can really understand it. Your children were going to the most expensive school, you know. Your lifestyle was formulated in a way. Now this has gone. What next? After believing you are a child of God and accepting it and understanding it real deep inside you, now start planning your life. If you had like 60 staff and 50 were engaged in that contract, find there's a way of getting them out slowly by slowly, considering the labor laws. You know, you follow the labor laws and make sure when you're laying them off, they don't come back to you and fight the company. So you remove the excess baggages and you remain with what can push you until the next phase. Why we panic is because we don't want to organize ourselves. It was big, it has gone. You want to stay there, you want to find your muscles back and know where to start again. I remember when I received the email of that contract going, I was in church here. We were having a discussion after the morning glory service.
Yes.
I saw it. I didn't even stop. We continued until we finished. But I read through it because it's an alarm. You see, this thing is cancelled. I'm sorry, the contract is no longer going. I just kept on. Because my life has not come to an end.
Yes.
Now I finished what I was doing, then you start restructuring your life. If you don't do that, you will break down. That's why you see people going through mental stress, you know, people misbehaving, because this has become another God. In life, contracts come and they go.
Yes.
Business go up and sometimes they go down.
Yes.
You know, there are times, it's not
they
constant.
fluctuate.
So it is you, a child of God, to know how to maneuver in all these phases of your business.
Yes.
I've just used that one of the contract being
Beautiful. I love it.
taken away
Yes.
from you.
I just want to connect what you're saying with what on chapter 63 when I wrote about your problems are your assets. Yes. Your problem are your assets. Your problem will teach you. Your problem will train you. Your problem will make you better. Your problem will equip you. Sometimes we will not have a certain skill until we go through a certain problem.
That's true.
So we cannot say problems. They come within the package. They bring so much. They teach us so much. And even God used them as tools to humble us, to make us better, and to know that He is God and to continue to trust in Him. We have been talking about take steps. You have a vision, don't end there. It is good that you have a vision, but faith without action, it's nothing. You need to take steps. Start with baby steps and continue as you are seeking God. Let Him guide you. Let Him show you what should be the next step. And in each phase of your dream or of your life, how do you incorporate everything else? Why not giving up on what God has given you? For my sister Vero, it was the book. Though she had gone through a different kind of a phase that she did not have time to continue with writing the book, she did not give up. She went right back into it when that time allowed her. Challenges. How do you overcome challenges and still come out victorious? We serve a God who is faithful. we continue to pray, we continue to trust God, and we continue to move on. Do not give up on the vision God has given you. Take steps. We have come to the end of the discussion. Hasn't it been wonderful? Oh, yes.
See, don't give up on the vision that God has given you. In that vision, you are there.
Yes.
So don't give up. As long as you're still there, don't give up.
As long as you are still there.
As long as you're still there,
Yes.
don't give up.
Yes.
You are there. Don't give up.
You are the biggest asset of that vision. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
That mindset to know you are the biggest asset of in that vision. Wow, it's mind blowing. Oh, thank you for bringing that up. Anything else you want to add as we are finishing
I just
up?
wanted to finish there by saying that when you walk in your vision, it's very hard for the devil to bring you down.
Woo.
When you are walking in your vision.
When you are taking action, when you are taking steps.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Wow, we are finishing strong here. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Dr. Dorothy Shallua, and I'm here with this wonderful woman of God, and her name is?
Jacinta Obado.
And
I'm Veronica Onyango.
And that was chapter 4 of Unleash the Extraordinary You. We'll see you next time. Thank you.